Welcome to In the Loop, the podcast that threads the world of crochet right into your ears. I am Brianna, your crochet companion, here to share stories and the joy of crochet. And let's get right into the episode. So today I am joined by
Joy. My name is Joy. I am Hands of Joy. That's the name of my crochet business. So everything will be in the description, but the Instagram is hands.ofjoy. And yeah, I'm here today and I'm so excited to film this podcast. And I'm actually so excited to be here.
I'm excited to
have
you.
I've been following you for so long. You were literally like my crochet, I have to be like this. So it's to be sitting here now, it's such what they call it?
A full circle moment.
A full circle moment. So yeah, I was called to do the podcast and yeah, I'm here, so I'm excited.
So today we're going to be talking about monetizing crochet. So let me know what you sell.
Okay, so I sell, that's a really hard question because I sell pretty much everything.
Okay.
Everything and more.
Me too.
It'll literally be, it started off as little tops, and then I started going to beanies and then bucket hats, and then I started going into more huge clothing these jackets and skirts and full-blown dresses. So every single day I feel my palette is growing for things that I make. So
yes, for sure. And I've been loving to see you grow too.
Thank you.
How did you learn how to crochet?
I learned how to crochet by my 4th grade teacher. So I was in the 4th grade when I learned or whatnot, and my teacher, she was in the middle of class one day, and she had this ball of yarn and this little metal stick. So everybody in the class was like, what is that? What is that? What is that? And she was like, oh, I'm crocheting. If you guys want to stay after school, I can show you, da-da-da-da. So it was okay, cool. So a little handful of us, not a lot. I kid you, it couldn't have been more than 5 people. We stayed after school or whatnot one day, and she literally taught us, she gave us one long string each person, and then she gave us a crochet hook or whatnot, and then she was just teaching us how to do the single crochet and the basic stitches. And if I'm being honest, I don't even remember her showing us double crochet, triple crochet, stuff like that. It was the basic foundation chain and maybe the single crochet. So after that, I kept that string. I remember this. I kept the string, and I had to give the hook back or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was okay, this was kind of fun. So I made my mom take me to the store, and I eventually got my own hook, and I got my own ball of yarn, which is the same color as that string. I purposely kept that string. That's so funny. So yeah, I took it. I went home or whatnot, and I wasn't watching any videos. I wasn't really reading anything. I was kind of just remembering what my teacher taught me and just playing with it. And of course, it looked kind of silly, but I just started making little doll clothes with no pattern and stuff like that. And then eventually in middle school, I bought a few balls of yarn. It was nothing serious. I still hadn't looked at videos and stuff. And in high school, that's when I actually looked, but then I stopped.
Yeah.
It was a complete boom, we're done. And then the pandemic picked it back up, and yeah, so a lot of the things that I did learn, when I actually did get older and start to learn stuff, it was just a bunch of YouTube and just reading patterns and looking at tutorials and things of that nature. So that's how I learned. So my 4th grade teacher and YouTube.
Yeah, so we pretty much have the same story, minus my teacher saying crochet. But yeah, I feel the pandemic really made a lot of people get into crocheting because I wasn't very consistent either until then. So do you think that monetizing your hobby sucks the fun out of it?
It's honestly a yes and no question. For me personally, it depends on how much work I guess I'm doing. On a normal, consistent, I guess week or whatnot, I feel pretty normal. I feel pretty fine. It's not overwhelming, and this is what I enjoy doing. This is what I like to do. So it's not too many orders. It's okay, cool. But then of course we have those weeks where it's I'm just jam packed with orders, and it's okay, this is getting a little repetitive. And then I feel the only time it's not really fun is if it's an influx of orders, and also if I'm kind of repeating the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
For example, one of my most popular pieces are ski masks. So everyone would just order, oh, can I get a black ski mask? And I'm just okay, I'm not playing with my creativity as much as I want to, because everyone just keeps wanting to order the black ski mask, the black ski mask, the black ski mask. And it's like, I'm begging y'all to order more colors, order more things, like kind of like test my creativity in a way. So I feel like that's the only time it really sucks the fun out of it, is when I can't be as creative as I want with it. But other than that, like crocheting is pretty fun to me. But like I wish someone did warn me about like crocheting. There's a possibility that it could not be fun at some moments. Yeah. Because I have had those moments where like even when I make like bigger projects, like a blanket or something for someone, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, this is not fun at all. Like this project is too big. It's repetitive. I keep running out of yarn. I keep having to go back to the store. So it's like, okay, it's not fun anymore. Yeah. So you have to have kind of like a balance, I guess, with it, and know like how much to take in 1 week, and like, you know, also play with your creativity so you don't lose that fun aspect of it.
Yeah. I feel like my system is whenever I'm making a lot of the same thing, I always try to set aside time at one point just to make something I want to make. Yeah. So then I can, like you said, test my creativity, have something different to make instead of just repeating the same thing. Yeah. And there was another thing that I want to touch on. Oh, yeah. So do you have a set amount of orders you take, or do you just take however many come? Like, do you limit yourself?
It's honestly no limit. Okay. I know that sounds pretty insane, because what if I get 20 orders in a week? But it's like the point of my life where I am right now, where my business is, I guess, it's okay for me to do that. Like there's really no limits. It's kind of like, okay, whoever orders something, all right, boom, I'm gonna write your order down in a notebook. And then I'm just gonna go through that list. I'm gonna crochet everything. But I do keep in mind of like, I always let my customers know, like, let's say for instance, if I do have like a huge influx, all of a sudden I do let them know like, okay, hey, I'm gonna need this amount of time because I do have a lot of orders, But like overall, there's really not too much of a limit. The only time I actually will say I try to limit myself is when I have like big events coming up, like some sort of vendor event or an art show or something like that. I do tend to like put a pause on orders so I can like, you know, catch up on the stuff that I need like for that vendor event or for that show or whatnot. Like even currently now I have a big one in November. So I have enough time, so I'm pretty good with the orders. But I know for a fact once it gets closer to that time of the event, I will definitely put a pause on my normal daily orders and focus strictly on that event. So, yeah.
When do you think you should start selling your products if you're just learning how to crochet?
Man. When should you sell the products when you're first learning?
Because I know some people, they start too soon.
Yeah.
To where...
And they don't, I feel like you should start when you feel as if you are capable to start. Like you have to take into consideration, there's a lot of aspects that you have to take into consideration when starting a business, especially with crochet. Because like when you're crocheting, like you're literally making clothes. So you have to take into account like, okay, I have to make sure I have this person's size. Okay, what will I price my items at? Okay, I have to now worry about shipping. Okay, now I have to actually make the content for it so I can get more exposure. So you have to, I would say jumpstart it when you know you feel comfortable, I guess, juggling all of those aspects of the business. Because I feel like I started mine at a pretty good like time before I actually made it official and shared with the world like, hey, this is my business. I was actually already building up my inventory. So I would say once you built your inventory, that's a pretty good time to start too. And you don't have to be like me where it's like you're selling like hats and ski masks and bras and skirts. Like if you want to just make it just a hat business, okay, boom, just a hat business. But I know for me, I already had crop tops made. I already had little bralettes made. I already had scarves made. I already had a lot of things in the inventory. So when I did officially take that leap of faith and start it, I already had content to post, I already had it all. So I just put it up there and people was like, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. So I say just try to build your inventory, because you're going to be very, very surprised with how many people want to shop with you. Because even I was shocked when I first started. You know, I was just posting and out of nowhere, it was just like, just skyrocket. And I was just starting. I didn't know how to balance all those orders. I didn't know nothing about shipping. Oh my God, I remember my mom shipping. I didn't know anything. And when I first started, literally within the first week of me posting, I already had so many orders, and I was like, oh my God, like, okay, this is a blessing, but Jesus Christ, it feels like a curse as well. It was a lot to juggle. So when you know how to juggle every aspect of your business, and when that inventory finally does grow, that's when I say to go ahead and start it. So yeah.
I also would say to start by making things for friends and family.
Yes.
Just so you can practice making things for different sizes, because I can kill a small because I'm a small, so I know how to do that. Exactly. But with other sizes, like I would use my mom for a medium, or just any friends that are different sizes than me, just so you can learn how to work with different body types and different measurements. Yeah,
that's very, very important as well, because I remember when I first started, my first customer, oh my God, I remember her forever. It was one of my friend's moms. And of course, like she was a little bit bigger than me or whatnot. So like that was the first order, and she ordered this top, and I was like, okay, I have not practiced yet on other people. So I was kind of scared and I was nervous, and I was like, okay, you know what, like you can do this. Like literally it's the same thing you do on yourself. Just measure her how you would measure yourself, and like you're gonna be perfectly fine. And I did exactly that, and that top came out so cool. Looking back at it, in the moment it looked cool, but looking back at it, I'm like, girl. But overall, she loved it. In the moment, I loved it. It fit her perfectly. I even ended up making her a dress down the line. And then, like, you know, sometimes you may have to readjust your gowns or whatever you make on people. That is completely fine, as long as they understand, like, you know, I'm hand making this and things of that nature. Like, you'll be fine. So I even have made her a dress before, and it came out perfectly. So definitely take the time to first do some tests, have a few test dummies. And I'm pretty sure your friends and family, they won't mind. Look, they're getting free crochet.
Yeah.
They literally
don't mind.
They don't care. Like all they know is, oh, she's finna make me something. So I feel like definitely test it before you officially like put it out there on the market.
And I feel like any crochet artist, once people know that you crochet, they're gonna be sending you stuff.
Oh my.
Can you crochet this for me?
Listen, people have sent me the most insane stuff, and I'll be like, I'm so flattered that you think I can do this, but I can't. But I really do enjoy like that feeling of like, oh wow, they think I'm that good that I can make that. Like that feels so nice.
Yeah.
But y'all gotta chill sometime, because I don't know how to make that stuff.
I mean, someday you're gonna be like, yeah.
Oh, definitely. That there has been a few pieces where they'll send me something on Pinterest and they're like, boom, can you make this? And I'm like, absolutely, it'll be ready tomorrow. So, but of course, those are the more like smaller, simpler things. But overall, I really do enjoy when people do send me that stuff, because it also gives me inspiration on like, okay, boom, this is what people are looking at. So I need to figure out like, how do you want to incorporate this piece that they sent into your work and things of that nature. So there is an inspiring aspect of it, which I do like.
Yeah. So let's get into pricing. So how do you price your items? Do you think you price them well, or could you get a little better with that?
For being honest, I can get a little better with my pricing.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie, I can do better. But overall, how I price it, I basically do like minimum wage times like how much time it took to make it.
Yeah.
Plus like however much the yarn costs.
And shipping.
And shipping as well. Definitely include that shipping in it. The only time I don't really include shipping if I'm doing like a giveaway or some, a little local, like if I'm about to drop it off, that's the only time. But other than that, those are the main three things I do consider. I honestly do feel like I can price my stuff a little bit better. I be feeling like I'm playing myself.
Yeah.
And I'll look and I'll be like, that's not worth $30. You could definitely take it up a notch.
Yeah.
And people are going to buy it. I would definitely say don't be afraid to like set your price, and like your price is your price, and don't bargain it or anything else. Like tell them, boom, if this costs $40, hey, this costs $40, take it or leave it. No, okay, boom, I'm gonna go on to the next person, because people are absolutely going to buy your stuff. Like I can promise you that, especially with it being like it's handmade, it's creative. You're not gonna see this anywhere else. And that's when people are going to have that realization, like, okay, it's either spend this now and get something that like I won't see anywhere, or you're going to go to like a fast fashion shop and you're going to buy something for like $10 off the rack, but hey, everyone has it. You know? So I would definitely say that I can do a little bit better with my pricing, but as where I am right now, I think I'm pretty comfortable with my prices as of right now.
Yeah.
So.
For me, I feel like with my bigger items, I'm good with pricing those.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to smaller items, I'm like, I get in my head because I'm like, for a beanie, would I even buy it if it's that much money?
Yes.
But at the same time, it takes me a long time to make it. So I will say I pay myself less when it comes to accessory items just because I want to be realistic with the pricing of beanies, leg warmers, stuff like that. But I am playing myself when you think about it.
Yeah, I can't really, and I tend to do that too. And I'll be like, would I really buy this for $30? But then I'll be like, yes, you would. Like, it's handmade. You're not going to get this anywhere else. Like, this takes time. This takes effort, the amount of creativity that you're putting in it. And once people have that realization sets into them as the consumer, they're going to be like, you know what? I'll take it. And it'll be like no questions asked. Like, I've literally had some people just straight up ask me, how much does this go for? And I could just say a number off the top of my head, and they're like, here. And I'm like, oh, okay. But of course, I'm not going to use that to my advantage and, like, you know, play with people's money and, you know, just upcharge for no reason. But, like, I'm saying that to say that there are people who see your work, and they will definitely put forth whatever price that you tell them. And I've had it happen before, especially in my earlier days. Even now, sometimes, like, I've gotten so much bigger and so much creative, and I have so much to show for myself. So people are literally like, I'll take this, I'll buy this for however much you're selling it for. And I'm like, well, cool beans. So it's good to know that there are people out there who understand the value of, like, creativity and time and craftsmanship, and they are definitely willing to pay that price. So
Yeah, and those are the customers that you want too. Definitely. You want people that respect you and your craft. Yeah. And they'll just build up long-term customers for you, because usually, at least in my experience, when I make something for someone, they come back whenever they
all
need
the time.
it.
All the time. I remember this one girl, she ordered a bag, and then the same week she came back, she ordered an orange one first, and then she ordered a green one, and then she was like, okay, next week my mom, she want a blue one. And I was like, oh, okay, like, nice. And, you know, once I get that consistency, that's when, like, the relationship starts to build up, which is really, really good too. I really do value good client relationships. I really do enjoy talking to my customers and just engaging with them, because, like, at the end of the day, like, these are your customers. Like, they are literally putting money in your pocket. They are supporting your brand and your business. So I really do enjoy building those relationships. And, like, you never know where those relationships can take you at the end of the day. Like, you can meet somebody and they could have some sort of special connects. It's happened to me before, and I'm just really blessed and grateful to have to, to know those people. So yeah, once you build that consistency with them, the loyalty is definitely there. They're gonna keep coming back and keep coming back. So I'm very, very happy to say I do have those consistent customers, and it's never been no questions asked. There's no problem about pricing and how much is this, and they don't question the policies. It's just straight up loyalty, which I do appreciate them for. So yeah.
So I know that you said that you don't like repetitiveness, but would you ever consider wholesaling your items?
Boy, I don't even know, because when it gets to wholesale, that's like a whole different, like, ball game. Like, that's like, you have to make sure that, like, you have enough of this particular item. So as far as wholesale goes, I don't think I would want to go that route. I think I would probably want to, like, stay where I am now, just to avoid, like, that repetition or whatnot. And I know people would think that, like, when crocheting, like, repetition is cool and, like, repetition is easy and, like, but it's like, it's boring.
Yeah.
Like, I can't play with my color palettes. I can't test anything. It gets boring after a while. So as far as wholesale, as of right now, I'm gonna say no. But, like, who knows what can happen down the line? Who knows what could happen in the future? Like, you know, I'm getting so big now, and, like, the exposure that I get is completely out of this world. So who knows? Something could change my mind in maybe even a few months, and I'll be like, okay, boom, I need to be wholesale. So, but as of right now, like, I'm pretty stable, and I like where I am now and how I'm running it.
So from my experience, I did wholesale for a little while when I first made my crochet art a business. But at that time, that's especially when I was not paying myself what I should be paid. So that made the situation even worse.
Oh, God.
But at the end of the day, she would provide me with the yarns and she would pay for shipping. So I guess
it's
that was
kind of work.
But like you said, the repetition was just a lot. And then sometimes she would want it to be different than what she said before. And she didn't really understand crochet art.
Yeah.
Because it's not that easy to take apart some things, because some pieces are made from different pieces that you sew together. And I can't just reuse the yarn all the time from that to make it into something else. So I will say wholesale could be better if someone understands the art, understands how long it takes, and are willing to pay you what your time is worth. Yeah. Because, for example, I would make a shirt for like $25. And that was a lot. Because, I mean, when I looked it up, because that's when I first started the business, I was like, I know for wholesale, you usually give people a cheaper rate because you're buying so many. So I was like, okay. I don't know if that goes for crochet too, but it says like, in the tradition of wholesaling, it's cheaper when you buy more. So that's what I did. And she would get like probably 4 shirts, 4 skirts, another style of a shirt, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. But after like the summer of doing that, because it was during quarantine, I just told her, I'm going to college. I'm not going to be able to have time to do this. And I mean, I didn't tell her, I wish I told you a higher price, because that's on me. That's on me.
Definitely.
But I did give that up. And like, she never ended up even using them anyway. So it's just like, I wasted my time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, people think like, oh, like, you're still making your money, but it's like, no, like, I'm making this for someone to use and to be worn. So like, even though you're buying it off me, you're setting it up in shop, if it's not getting bought by anyone, no one's wearing it, it's kind of like, you know. And then I think that's another reason why I haven't went the wholesale route. I don't like people telling me what to do, okay? Especially when it comes to my work, this thing that I'm making, you're going to tell me, no. You're not going to tell me how to do my craft, what you want, what you dislike. I don't like that at all. And then you're right, like, a lot of people, they don't understand crochet. Like, it's not just like I'll just pull it apart and just move. Like, no. I have to actually unravel it and readjust it. And it's like, it's a lot going into making it. So you're telling me that you want it like this instead of this. It's like, well, why did you say this in the beginning? Yeah. So I think that's another reason why I haven't went wholesale. I hate people telling me what to do, especially when it comes to my craft and my art, especially from someone who, they're not in it. You know, this is just a regular person who you just own a store, and I'm a crochet artist. Yeah. You don't understand like what goes into this. So as far as going wholesale, nah. And I've had a few people come to me before, with like a wholesale kind of like idea, I guess. And I think my whole thing was like, I want to sell this from me. I want this to go to a customer personally from me, so they know this is her, and I want them to know my name. As far as if you go through wholesale, all they know is like, oh, I just bought it from her store. They don't know the story behind the piece. They don't know the person who made it. They don't know the creative. They don't know. It's like your identity kind of gets sucked out of it when you kind of go the wholesale route. And I really do like to keep my identity within my pieces. So I don't want someone to go through someone else, like a vendor or whatnot, and then they don't know like, oh, this is crocheted by Joy and she made this and this is her work and this is her Instagram. Like, they don't know all that. All they know is, oh, I just got it from the boutique. So I think I wouldn't want to go that route. And then like you said, selling it for a lower price, I steer clear from wholesale. So yeah.
But again, it's to each their own.
Yeah, definitely. Look, if you feel like as if wholesale is your thing, if that's what works for you, if that you think that the best route, that's what keep money in your pocket, definitely do that. We are in no shape, form, or fashion, downplaying or down talking wholesale. But I know as for me, like the wholesale route right now where I am in my life and where I'm trying to go with it, it's not the proper route for me. So yeah.
And I would say a better route would probably be a vendor like you do. So
definitely.
How would you say not vending.
Vendoring.
Yeah. How would you say vendoring like change your business for the better, help you grow and meet new people?
Man, I absolutely love vendoring. And it's crazy because I haven't done a lot of vendor events. I think in total I've done like 3, maybe 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 3. I think I've done a total of 3 vendoring events. And I've been crocheting, like we said, since like quarantine or whatnot. Yeah. I think 2021 was my first time doing one, if I'm not mistaken. And even my first time being at a vendor event, I was still small at the time. Man, it was so insane. It was crazy. I made so much money, and it's crazy because we were in a more smaller city or whatnot. And like the amount of exposure I got and the amount of money that was coming in, it shocked me. And then that's when I realized, like, whoa, you can actually go places. So like when it comes to vendoring, I do love vendoring, but of course, you have to make sure that you have enough time. You have to make sure you have enough product. I think that's the most stressful part about it, is making sure that you really allocate the time to make your products, because if you go to the vendor event with no product, what money are you going to make? You know? So I really do enjoy doing vendoring events. I typically, I try to keep the events more on the bigger side, I'm not going to lie. The events that I participate in, they're bigger, but they're more spread out. So for example, I'm currently working with the Atlanta Streetwear Market, which I absolutely love. The first one I did was over the summer. And that went really, really well. Like I almost sold out of everything.
That's good.
The amount of exposure that you get, the amount of people. I met so many cool people, so many cool customers. Like, and it's like I said earlier, you don't know who's in the crowd. Like you honestly, you don't know. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who they know. The amount of connections that I've gotten, like, it was insane. So I definitely encourage vendoring events, but just make sure you're prepared, because there is something that comes with it when preparing for those events. Like for example, for that event, you have to make sure that you have enough money. Like that's really, really big. So that means balancing your orders and also like crocheting the stuff as well, because the money that you make from your orders, that's the money that you're going to use for the vendor event. So if you have to purchase your own table and purchase a backdrop and purchase a mannequin, and you have to purchase all these things, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty prepared, but I was kind of overwhelmed, I guess, because I was really looking at the total, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, thank God I had it, Mm-hmm. So the money was not really an issue for me, but I was like, wow, imagine if I was prepared. Imagine if I didn't have like the orders coming in like back to back, to where I do have the money to put out for that. So I definitely say, we're doing a vendor events, just be prepared, and also have a team. Mm-hmm. Do not go to an vendor event solo dolo. I'm begging you. Like, have one friend, a family member, a parent. Like, have at least one person, maybe even two. I was grateful enough to have, it was 4 of us in total at Atlanta Streetwear Market, and I think this fall is going to be about 5 of us, because it's such a huge event. It's over like 5,000 people coming in there. So trying to do all the vendoring stuff alone, that's not a good idea. Like, you definitely need a team to, like, okay, we have to set up. You need a team to set up. You need a person who's talking to someone. You need someone handling the money. You need someone restocking items. Like, so please, please, please do not do a vending event by yourself. Like, that is definitely a huge mistake that you can't possibly make, thinking like, oh, okay, like I can do this. No, you cannot. And I'm not saying you cannot, but I prefer you not to. If you have an extra family or friend, definitely take them along. But I definitely do say, once your business does, you're more comfortable and you're growing, things of that nature, definitely try to get into the vendor events. And even if you're small and you do it, that's like the perfect exposure. So I definitely say, stretch out, find those vendor events. And there's vendor events going on everywhere, especially in a city like Atlanta. Like, it's stuff always going on 24/7. I've gotten so many emails about this event's coming up, and this event's coming up, and this event's coming up. So just pick which one you want to do, and just prepare for it. So I definitely recommend vendor events. It's really, really fun.
I'm going at it a little bit backwards, because although I've already had my business for so long, I haven't done a vendoring event. And my first one is next month. Okay. It's almost exactly a month from now. So I'm in that phase where, now I have to start getting everything, because I didn't want to get everything too early. So I got my banner, but still have to worry about the tables. Yeah. And mine is outside, so the tent. Yeah. And making sure I get a good tent that won't just fall over. Yeah. And then I'm just very extra. So I want to decorate mine just to make it cute. And that'll attract, it'll attract more people. Really big.
Which is what I wish I did that for Atlanta Streetwear Market. This was my first one, So it's like, mine was very like generic, like black tablecloths, put your backdrop up, put the banner up, boom, like put the little grass turf.
Yeah.
That's that. It was very basic, very simple. And I wish I did play with my creativity more, which I still want to for the fall, but like my space is only so big, so I couldn't play with it too much. But even without, what I noticed, especially with crochet, since it's so different, even if your space is not like as like extra like grand and stuff like that, you're still gonna get that traction
because the items.
It's crochet, exactly.
Yeah.
It's crochet. People are gonna look at your table and just see all these colors and yarn. They're gonna. It's like I'm almost like a magnet, especially when you do vendor events. Please wear a good outfit. I'm begging you. Like, if you wear a good piece, people are definitely going to come to you. Like my friend, she actually wore this one, and this one is a very, very hot one. And as soon as people saw her with it on, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from? And she was literally guiding them to the table. So like, even if you don't have like that creative aspect when it comes to your space, just wear a cool outfit, and I can guarantee you, people are going to come to your table for sure.
Yeah. And then I would also recommend, even if you don't need a lot of money to decorate necessarily, because if you have yarn, you can make decorations with yarn.
Yeah, you can definitely figure something out.
Yeah.
So it just all depends on the person and the route that you want to go with the vendor event. If you're more big and grand, go that route. If you want to keep it more like simple and just small, you can also go that route too. But just like just be prepared.
Yeah.
And I would say, I know you don't want to get things early, but I would actually recommend people to get things early, because I made that mistake trying to prepare for the vendor event, and it was just so much, and it was like so much money, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Versus if I would have like split it up, like, okay, this week by the tablecloth, this week by the banner, this week by the mannequin, if you break it down, it makes it a little bit more easier. But like to each his own, like if you feel as if like, boom, I can wait till then to buy it, do that as well. But I would definitely recommend trying to get it as early as you can, so it's kind of like out the way, because I know when the event did get there, like I was pretty much like relieved, like I didn't really have any other things to buy. It was like 2 weeks before the vendor event. The only thing I really had to worry about was like, okay, just make these last few pieces and like you're really good. Like you have everything, you're all set and ready to go. So on the day of the event, it's like, boom, let's just set up and just make some money. So yeah.
I mean, for me, since I'm living away from home, the only storage space I have is my room. So that's why I'm waiting, just because I don't have anywhere to put all these displays. The pieces that I'm making already takes up enough space in my room. So I think I'm gonna rent out the tables and stuff, so I don't have to worry about storing it afterwards and before. And I feel like if you look that up in your city, again, take what I say with a grain of salt, because I have not done this yet, but this is my plan, that there's this renting place where you can rent basically anything, and you can get a table for like $10. So I think I'll just do that instead of buying my tables.
Yeah, I know. As for me, like a lot of the stuff I already pretty much had because of my mom. Because my mom, she's also a businesswoman, and she's done events and things like that too. So like, we already had a tent. We already had the tent. We already have tables. We already have chairs. Like I was grateful enough to already have a few of those things. So I didn't have to like really go out the way. But like buying things like that is definitely an investment, because at the end of the day, like you're gonna need this in a few more months when you do another event. But of course, they gotta take into consideration like storage, and I don't have anywhere to store it and everything else. So my mom actually did invest into a storage as well. I think we have 2 storage units, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of that stuff, like the tents, the tables, the chairs, the wagons, all of that goes into the storage, and then we bring it out when we do need it. So if you can, if you have that space to store it somewhere, I would say invest in it and buy it. But of course, like there are places where you can rent stuff, or you can just ask a friend. Like I've asked my friends before, like, hey, you got a table I can borrow? Or even at certain vendor events, they actually do rent tables and chairs, so you can just buy it there as well. So it just all depends on like your situation, like where you are and things of that nature.
And if you do want to invest in them and buy them, Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, absolutely. Facebook Market. Thrift stores. I got a clothing rack from the thrift store. My mom bought it for like $11, and
that's good.
It's such an amazing rack. Oh my God, I wish I had it with me to show you. But it's like a 2-tier rack, and it's like really short, but it extends long, and it has 2 layers on it. And look, go to the thrift stores. Like you can definitely find a few things that you need in thrift stores. I say Big Lots is another good one. Walmart, like those little stores like that where you can find it for cheap. Definitely go those routes, but definitely the thrifting in the Facebook Market, hands down one of the best places to get your stuff from.
And then lastly, I just wanted to mention other ways that you can make money besides selling physical products. So that can be content creation. Once you get to the point where you can make money on YouTube, and when Reels had bonuses, they don't anymore. But that was a good era. And I think TikTok pays now too, but I don't have that because TikTok just hasn't been working with me lately.
Yeah, with TikTok, I'm more of a team Reels. Yeah. When it comes to like making my content for crochet and posting it, I'm definitely more team Reels. Because I noticed with Reels, just for me personally, I get way more exposure on Instagram than TikTok. With TikTok, it's kind of iffy because it's like, okay, sometimes the numbers might be jumping, sometimes it's not. Yeah. And like with Reels, every single time I post, it's a hit. Yeah. It's a hit. Versus when I post it on TikTok, it's not getting as much exposure. So I definitely say like play around with different platforms and see like where you get the most exposure at. But I know for me, majority of my exposure did come from Instagram. So making those Reels, which I absolutely love making Reels. And I wanted to get more into like the tutorials and doing like YouTube and stuff, because I kind of do it or did it. It's been a minute since I actually posted a video. But like I wasn't doing like crochet videos. It was more like just vlogs, lifestyle, things of that nature. But like with tutorials, I don't know if I want to do that either. I mean, I should try it to see if I like it. I probably will like it. But it just all depends just on you. Just, just play around with different platforms, see which one you like, see what works best for you. I know for me, the best videos I like to make is those short, sweet, and simple 60-second videos, put some music behind it, chop it up, instant blow up for me. At least I know for me every single time. So I do like making those content videos. And I like making videos. Like that's another way to kind of play with your creativity, especially when you're mashing it together with the crochet. You can definitely get creative with the videos. So I say my best creativity when it comes to videos and social media is like TikTok and Reels. So, yeah. Just gotta figure out what works for you.
Yeah, I would say TikTok used to be my holy grail until they started paying people. And now it's just I get no views. Yeah. And then Reels, that is always good for me too. Like, even if it doesn't blow up right away, eventually it just keeps climbing and climbing.
Man, it's been times where like I post something and it's like, okay, it gets a little engagement, boom. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, okay, why is the numbers going up, the views going up, the likes? It'll just be out of like nowhere. And I'll just be like, oh, okay, cool. So versus TikTok, it's kind of like once you have that moment of getting that exposure, like you're going to get the exposure and it kind of just stops. Yeah. It just mellows out. Maybe here and there you might have 1 like or whatnot. Yeah, but versus Reels, it's like there's constant moments of like it blowing up. I don't know how the algorithm does it. I don't know how it works, but thank you, Instagram algorithm.
Yeah, thank you, Reels.
Thank you.
Because even if it doesn't directly get you money, it will get you more customers.
Yeah, it gets you exposure too. Yeah. Like just random strangers, millions of comments, and I'm like, wow, I don't even know these people. They're so supportive. Like, I really do appreciate it. So definitely, I say everyone needs to look at the Reels route because everybody's on Instagram. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then one other thing is just pattern making. So if you don't want to do the tutorial route and you rather take pictures and type it out, that's also a way that you can make money. And that way you can control how much you make rather than with YouTube views or video views on Reels or TikTok where you don't know how much you'll make. So I feel like that's a plus with pattern making, but don't make patterns too soon. Yeah. Make sure you know how to make them. Make sure you know that it'll work for all sizes. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I think
that's why I haven't gone the pattern route yet, because I've had people tell me like, oh, like you should make patterns, but it's like with the stuff that I make, it's kind of like patterns are already kind of out there for them. Yeah, true. So it's like I don't really know, like, okay, what would I make a pattern for? Like, so
yeah, I would say don't make it just for a basic piece because there's a million patterns out there.
Like example, a beanie. You don't need a pattern. Yeah, don't do that. Okay, I promise you, there's thousands of patterns out there for free at that. Okay. Yeah. So I would definitely say once you get into more like bigger, intricate pieces, then you definitely want to look at like the pattern route. But I have yet to try to make a pattern. Yeah. I'm kind of nervous to make one too. Because like, what if I say something wrong or something?
See, I wouldn't say it's for everyone because if you do have a mistake, especially if you sell on Etsy or something, it will be in the comments. It will affect your ratings. And you can't control those reviews.
Yeah.
So don't do it if you aren't confident. Or start by making free patterns, and then you can start charging once you know they work well. What I like to do is I make them cheaper when I first put them out and see if anyone spots any problems. And if they don't, then that's whenever I make it the price that I intend it to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I should attempt the pattern route. I would just have to find something that, like, okay, you could definitely make a pattern for this. Because, like, I've had a lot of people ask me, like, oh, can you teach me how to make this? And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, I don't know if I'm that good of like a teacher. So I would definitely rather much like give them a video or tutorial or a pattern and be like, boom, learn it, versus them trying to sit next to me trying to show them. I mean, I've done it before, and like I've taught a friend or two, like, okay, this is how you started, this is the movement, and like they'll get it, but then, you know, they mess up, and it's just me. I just get irritated, and I'm like, just get out my face, because you're making me mad. But overall, I don't think I'm too good of a teacher unless they're not good students. I don't know. But I should definitely try to make a tutorial or a pattern and stuff like that, just for those people who do want to learn, because I've definitely had people ask me to teach them, and it's like, I don't know if I'm the best teacher, but I do have this. You can rewatch it as many times as you want. You can slow it down, speed it up. You know what I'm saying? If you have questions, you can come back to me then. So I definitely should attempt a tutorial, just for those people who have told me, like, oh, can you teach me how to make this?
And once you actually start, you will gain some more confidence, because at first I didn't think I would be able to teach people either. But then, like, when I make tutorials now, I'm like, I'm seeing comments and they're like, oh, you're so good. I didn't know I could understand this. You're so clear with it. You make it so simple. I'm like, oh.
It really does depend on, like, us as the crocheter. Like, you have to make it as clear, as cut, as simple, as easy as possible for people. Because I don't know how many times I have seen a tutorial and, like, they're explaining it and I'm like, well, what? Like, what did you do? How did you get from point A to point B? Like, even recently I was watching a video tutorial and I was making something, and there was a small piece of the project that, like, she didn't show, like, what she did with it. It was just like a loose, like, fabric or something like that. And I was like, okay, it's finished, but what did she do with the inside? So I had to go down to the comment section, and lo and behold, there was actually someone in the comments like, hey, what'd you do with those two triangles right there? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, all I did was just sew it, and it was like, okay, cool. So definitely, if you're making those tutorials and patterns, like, just be very, very clear and direct, and make it as simple and as easy as possible for people to understand, because people are watching it. People are actually they're going to try to make the stuff that you're telling them to make, because it's just cool, you know? So just try to be as clear cut and crisp as possible. I know when I watch your tutorials, very straightforward, very easy, straight to the point. I barely have to rewind. Like, I pretty much would listen for like 10 minutes and be like, okay, she did this. Okay, pause, and I'll just make it like that. So I do agree with those people. Your tutorials are very, very simple and easy, which I appreciate, because man, there's been a countless amount of times where I watch some people's tutorial and I'm like, oh my God. I just want to quit because I don't know what to do next.
But I feel like that's also because some people, they make tutorials for everything. For me, I only make patterns and tutorials for things that I think are pretty simple for me to explain, because if it's something really intricate, that's when I just hit them with the, I'm sorry, I free-handed it. Because I know I'm not going to be able to explain how to do it. I know people will have a million questions and I won't be there to answer them right away. So I just save everyone the trouble and only make patterns for simple items.
Definitely the simple items. I really do enjoy making simple items, because then after a while, after making them, you start to remember, like, I can make a skirt off the top of my head. No pattern, no nothing. Just give me your measurement. Okay, this is your measurement. Boom, and I'll just make it right off the top of my head. Like, I've done it so many times before. So, and I think that's another thing that I do like about crocheting is, like, it's repetitive, but you start to remember, and those patterns stick to your head, and you no longer have to, like, write it down. Because I used to have a whole crochet book, and I still have it, where everything I would write down, like, how to make this, and then it's like, it's gotten so repetitive to the point where, like, I don't even use the book. I don't even know where the book is at. If I'm being honest, I don't know where that book is at. So a lot of the things that my customers order, I'm just making it straight off the dome, because I remember the pattern in my head now. So
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that. And it's crazy how much our brain can hold because it's so many patterns from a bralette to a hat to a skirt. And it's like, how do I remember all of that stuff? Repetition. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how you remember it. So
yeah. But I think that's all the time that we have for today's episode. Thank you so much for coming on. You were really good. I really enjoyed hearing your insights on everything. And is there anything you want to say?
I don't think so. Just, keep on creating. If you have a talent, pursue it, go get it. If you're a crocheter, even if you're a beginner, just keep going, keep trying. It's not the end of the road. If you have questions, ask them. And just follow my socials and come shop and stuff like that. So I think that's it.
Everything will be linked in the description box below. So, yeah.
Peace. Bye, guys.